In this tutorial, we're going to use Adobe Illustrator CC 2020 to go through Classroom Book Chapter 7, which is all about drawing with the pen tool. So the pen tool is one of the, for me, more difficult tools to master in Illustrator. It does take a lot of patience and a lot of practice. So we're going to go ahead and start the lesson by opening up those practice files. So look, find the L7 practice, do a file, save as. Let's go ahead and do a first initial last name underscore Adobe Illustrator Classroom in a Book Chapter 7 and practice. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my Lesson 7 folder and save and say OK. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to play with working with this crown. So I'm going to go ahead to my artboard here, make sure I'm on artboard number 1, and go to View, and let's go to View, Artboard and Window. So now we're going to go ahead and take a peek at this crown. So with the pen tool, you can create curved lines, straight lines. You do have more control over the paths that you draw. If you create 2 corner points, you've made a straight path. If you create a curved path with the pen tool, you have to create these direction lines. So we're going to create both of those as we're going to work through this practice session. So let's go down here to the work area and switch down here to our pen tool. My pen tool. And with my pen tool, I'm going to go to my properties. I want to make sure that my fill is set to none, because there's a really good chance when you're working with the pen tool that you will accidentally overlap what you are doing in the process of trying to draw. And let's have our stroke. Black is fine. And 1 point is awesome. Let's go ahead and do View and turn the Smart Guides off for a minute. The Smart Guides are useful when you're drawing, but sometimes they get in the way as well. So we went ahead and turned those off. Let's go ahead and get started. Zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and hit Start. Did I turn them on or off? Oh, I turned them off. Let's make sure they're turned off. They shouldn't be showing anything at all. Alright, so we're going to go to our first anchor point, which is number 1. We're going to go ahead and click, and we're going to go straight up to number 2 and click again, and we're going to create a straight path. So we're going to go ahead and do that for 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. When we're ready to end the area, let's go ahead and hit Enter. So now we can go ahead and select those paths. We can use the selection tool, and you can move the entire path at once. Or you can do undo and move it back. And you can also play with different points of the different points by playing with the direct selection tool. So I'm going to go ahead and drag direct selection. I'm going to go ahead and click this top one right here so it is selected. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it straight up. And it'll let me change the shape of that crown just a little bit. Just that 1 point. I could also, if I wanted to, make it round by pulling on the corners. So you've got a lot of different options by using the direct selection. So there's a lot of different ways to mess and play with your different types of paths. So let's go ahead and jump over to artboard number 2. And we're going to work on this open sign. So with this one, we're going to go ahead and turn our Smart Guides back on. So View and Smart Guides, turn them back on. So you'll kind of see we get the little cues that tell us what's going on as far as our work area goes. Let's go ahead and it's telling me to turn them off again. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so if you have your Smart Guides on, if you go from 1 to 2, it's going to go ahead and give you, I've got to have my pen tool. If you go from 1 to 2, it's going to go ahead and give you those measurements. So it's a great way to look at those. If you want to turn those measurements off, you don't want to see that extra element, go ahead and turn those off in the View menu. Let's go ahead, and we want to make sure we're drawing a nice straight line over here to start. So if I hold Shift as I go over, I'm going to get a perfectly straight line. I'm going to go over here. If I hold Shift as I go along, you're going to see I have a problem because Shift only works in 45-degree angles, and right now my angle that goes up to number 4 is not constrained to 45 degrees. So I do not want to hold Shift to go that way. Go ahead and click here to my number 4 and come down to my number 5. Go ahead, hit Shift and bring it over to 6, Shift to 7, Shift back to 8 so I can finish up that nice beautiful arrow. So those are straight lines. Straight lines are relatively straightforward. Well, that's a bad pun. Let's go ahead and jump over to number 3. That's where we start playing with the pen tool in slightly different way, and we start playing with the actual direction tools. So when we're drawing with the pen tool, we have a few different elements. First thing we've got to do is tell it which way we want to draw. So I'm going to go ahead and click here on my number 1. I'll zoom in a little bit more. You can see a little bit better. Click here on my number 1 anchor. I'm going to click and hold and drag up. Click and hold. Now if I drag up, I would get a straight line. I don't want to do that. So I want to go ahead and drag from the center. And I'm going to get these direction dots. So you see how you get those? Undo. Start over. So click hold, and you see you get those direction dots, those direction handles. Go ahead and hold that over to center, to that red line. And now I want to stretch over to number 2 and drag and hold and come down to the other red line. And you see how it allows you to control the curve of that line. So let's go ahead and pop down here to practice to start. So click and hold. Now click. Let's grab, come on, click. And let's get that direction bar. I don't know why it's not behaving for me today. Undo a couple times. Click, hold, get the direction bar so we can tell it which we want to change directions. If I hold shift, I can get a totally straight line. Come down here to my red bar and let go and enter. All right, let's try it one more time. Click, hold. There we go. Get my direction, go here, start, turn it around a little bit, and enter, and let's try one more. So click, get that direction bar, until you kind of replicate that shape, and hit enter. So that's how we start and stop. So let's go ahead and jump down to the next one, which is number 4. And this one's a little bit more confusing because you're actually going to be starting and stopping a number. You're drawing kind of a caterpillar. So let's go ahead and zoom in. And I'm going to click and hold. And we can always go back and change these as we go. So now let's do these continuous curves. We're creating smooth curves that are connected. So let's go ahead and undo. Click here, hold, go up. If I hold shift, I'll get a nice straight line. Come down over here to 2 and drag it down. So now I want to go ahead and click here to 3 and drag up. Come here to 4 and drag down. Come here to 5 and drag up. And go to 6 and drag down. And hit enter to end that. So I might not be quite where I want to be on some of these, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my direct selection tool, and I can go ahead and edit those anchor points, kind of move those around until I get a shape that is a little bit closer. I could also grab these handles, which can help me change the direction of my paths just a little bit. So this one's off by a little bit here. So go ahead and play with it until you are happy with what you have created. So don't forget, if you do mess it up, you can always go back and change what you've got so far. Let's do Control S and save and switch to the next artboard. So let's go. This one is a little bit more complicated. Number 5 is. So let's go ahead and pop over to number 5. And we are going to switch directions on this one. So I found it's easier to drag these to do this step than it says to do the directions. So let's go ahead, click with our pen tool on number 1. Click and click. Let's drag up. Nope. Drag up. I'm going to come down here to 2 and stretch down here. And I need to change directions. The easiest way for me to change directions is to hit Alt and grab that red dot, grab my direction pointer and bring it up to this red dot. Then let go of both your mouse and your key. Let's come over here to 3, come down to the gold dot, hit Alt, come up to the red, hit Alt, release Alt, let go of your mouse. Let's come over here to 4, come down to gold, Alt, swing up, go of Alt, let go of your mouse, come down here to 5, hit Alt, swing up, let go of Alt, let go of your mouse, and come down here to 6. So the book does describe another way to do it. I can never get it to work that way, but you are more than welcome to go in and play with those elements any way you like. So now we need to, for the next practice session, we want to go ahead and combine some straight and some curved lines. So we want to, oh, well, we don't. We want to go back down here and practice 5 one more time. So I'm going to hit my space bar, go down here. All right, so I'm going to hit, I'm going to drag up, come down here, hit Alt, drag up, come down, hit Alt, drag up, down, Alt, drag up, drag up, undo. Let's do that one more time. All right, so you can go ahead and practice these over and over again. It's really just a matter of practicing. I'm going to go up, drag over, Alt, drag up. You do get the smart guides that kind of help you to, align those things a little bit better. So clearly mine are not beautiful either. Hit Alt, drag up. So go ahead and keep practicing those different elements. Let's go ahead and jump over to number 6. So let's go ahead, next pasteboard, view, sprite random window. And we're going to hit click start. And on this one, we're going to combine some of these elements. So if we were to do our traditional click, drag up, drag over, if you do that, when you try to go here to 3, you're going to go ahead and get a curved line, which is not straight, which isn't going to do what you want it to do. So what we do want to do instead is come back to this point until we get kind of the caret, click on it, which says change directions. I'm going to hold shift, get a nice straight line. I'm going to go ahead and drag so I can change directions. Come here to 4, drag. I'm going to come back down here, change the point, hit shift, come straight across, click and drag so I can get another circle, and hit enter. So let's try it one more time. Zoom in just a little tiny bit. I'm going to click and hold, drag up, come down here, finish my circle. Come up, change the direction with my caret, go straight across. Click and hold, undo, click and hold, go down, come across, and over, come down, change to my caret, go straight across, drag up, and drag across, and enter. So now, if you zoom out and you go to your layers and turn off the template layer, you will see all of the amazing things that you just managed to draw. So make sure you go ahead and package this one. So file actually, you don't need to package, we just need to include this one as you turn in this assignment. So let's go ahead and make this the end of part 1, which is practicing with the pen tools. Definitely go back and try it. It's going to take multiple tries to figure out how to do this correctly. I promise it is worth it if you just keep at it. And we'll check with you on part 2.